I was in the military for many years
Good to know.
as a dancer.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
A flapper, specifically.
A fapper.
A flapper.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Mom!
I've been waiting for you. Do you rub balls like me? Magical, mystical balls. Are you ready for a reading from me? I'll fry your fish and mine. The 5 of Burlington, you'll buy a nice coat. The 10 of Subway, footlong down your throat.
Wait, what's going on? What are you doing? Is this a spell?
With the 20 of Jack and the 30 of Dell, you'll eat like a creature on your way to hell. Dinner salads and saccharin, hordes of fat cats. Call in the district manager wherever they're at. Dolls and daddies, babies in quandary, let there be complaints and corporate apologies fondly. And those who are very, wherever you dwell, pick your hill and I'll stand with you and yell, it's very scary Delta!
Today's guest is a creep. He's a true crime aficionado from the CreepTime Podcast. It's the one and only Sylas Dean.
Hello. Hi, Delta.
Hi, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It means so much for me to be on this show. I'm so excited.
I'm excited. We were talking off camera about your look.
Yes. So you don't have a reference point for Gladys.
Well, I
That's okay.
know who she is.
Do you know the voice at all?
No, I don't know her voice.
She's very whimsical because you and I established she is a witch, but she's very the storyline is that she's presenting to people as oh, I'm just a whimsical aunt. I came into their life. I'm a caretaker. I absolutely love this studio. That's the vibe of Gladys. It's a front because underneath the wig, underneath the makeup, the glasses, she's a full-blown witch.
Are you a full-blown witch?
I'm a full-blown bitch.
I think so. But that's okay.
That is okay.
So I first knew you from clips. And I think a lot of people know podcasts and know stories from clips. In fact, I feel like there's a lot of people that this podcast, for instance, they'll only see the clips and they won't maybe go hear a full episode. So they will kind of base their opinion of someone on the clip.
Totally. That's kind of a great way to get introduced to somebody. It's how I found you. And I was it's a great gateway for sure. But it is one version of the whole arc of what you do.
It's just like an introduction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because those clips are cut downs of the show, or if I make short form content, it's received so differently in different places. Because before CreepTime, the podcast, which is all true crime, I started on TikTok and it was a lot of writing fictional scary stories or talking about the paranormal, talking about ghosts. And that was one audience. Switching over to Reels on Facebook, I learned very quickly they hate me. They want to knock you for wearing nail polish. They don't like if you have jewelry in your face, a nose ring or a septum. It was just a wildly different response, but still the same kind of engagement, whether it's rage bait or it's people who actually like spooky.
I think that's so weird. The internet itself is a wonderful place for people to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's so many people who maybe just feel unseen, scared politically, all of those things. So they use that platform to go, I'm going to critique somebody. I'm going to push these buttons just to get a rise off of somebody so that they know that my say-so was said.
It seems like everybody is just dying to be seen and be validated. And I'm no different. But
no, me neither.
Yeah, we just happen to be on camera people versus commenters.
No, that's true. And what you do, the meat of the content, obviously, the true crime. The meat. And I love meat. The true crime, the horror, this time of year specifically, I think people think about what's scary, right? And so this set, for instance, as a fortune teller or a soothsayer or something, to many people, they'll say, well, that's not really scary. But it sort of falls into this realm of questioning. And I feel like the same goes for true crime. While it may not be all horror related to people, it is, in fact, terrifying.
To a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting genre. Do you like true crime as a genre?
I am obsessed.
Really?
And this is the thing. I think a lot of people say that they're obsessed in the sense that they're maybe they listen to one or two podcasts out there.
They're adjacent to it. They're yeah, I watch Dateline. They're I saw a Netflix doc. Yeah.
But I really love listening to something that I can listen to a quick one, or I can listen to something that stretches out like a full season, that slow burns and just gives me every little bit of it. And I will go back and listen to broadcasts to go, I wonder if I'm missing something. I wonder if there's something else to this. I wonder if I was driving and not paying attention and I should go back.
Do you think that you're like an innate sleuth, maybe? That you just like want to find answers for an unsolved case?
I think that's definitely the case. The same with like paranormal. I've had no paranormal experiences ever in my life, but I'm intrigued by everyone's.
Do you believe?
Yes.
You do?
Very skeptical, because I feel like there are many things that my mind will already say, ooh, that's scary. You know, I recently moved. And so a house with original wood floors is different from the house that did not have wood floors. So any creak of my cats or whatever says to me at 4:00 in the morning, someone's in the house.
Totally. I've gone through the same issue. I live in a place, it's like a bungalow style that's very, very old. Is your new house old?
Old, yes.
Mine's like from the 20s. And I could tell when I moved in that whoever had lived there, I think most likely died there. Because when I came in, they had no cable, they had no Wi-Fi or anything.
Wow.
So when like all the providers come out, like Spectrum and whatnot, and they're setting all that shit up, they're like, whoever lived here lived with only a landline. And I'm like, so they were 100 years old.
Right.
And they probably died in this house. Great place, by the way. But that looming feeling of moving into a space like that, or a place that is a little older and has creaky floors or like older doors, you just feel something there because you know there was a life that was there before you.
Have you had any paranormal experiences there?
A little bit, actually. I've had a few weird instances where I'll wake up in the middle of the night and my living room TV is on and it's turned to a static channel. That never happens. I can't f***ing tell you the feeling of, because I live alone. I'm single. So when I wake up in the middle of the night and just hearing the blaring of static coming from another room in the house and having to get up like Carol Ann, and you have to walk through the house like it's Poltergeist, and you go straight up to the TV and you're like, I didn't do this. Right. I don't leave my TV on. I certainly wouldn't leave it on like volume 80 with static. So something feels strange.
Right.
Yeah. But you've never had a paranormal experience. I'm so surprised by that.
But I feel like sometimes my cats sense things. So I have 3 cats. And in my home dressing room, there's a very small closet. And you can see every bit of it. Like, so there's no like hidden corner or weird drawer or anything like that. It's just a small closet.
Okay.
And inside of it, there are 2 sort of wire shelving things that just have plastic tubs on them. And the cats will just go in there and 3 of them just stare.
Isn't that so? Do you feel like animals can see things that we can't sometimes? Sometimes I don't want to, maybe it's the Aquarian in us, but I'm like, I don't want to believe in something that sounds fucking silly like that. But in a weird way, they seem to see things that we don't. I think
so. And here's something I've never shared that I think is super weird and I guess unexplained. When I moved into this house, there was a moment in that dressing room where I was moving boxes around and I said, oh my gosh, I must have cut myself. There was like a few droplets of blood that looked like they had a step, like in order, and it was still wet. And I thought, I looked at the bottom of my feet and I was like, no, I haven't stepped on anything. I touched my leg. Like I was looking all over.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh no, one of the cats like must have hurt itself on something. Checked the cats. There was nothing. And then went behind a chair and there was, I would say, a significant amount of wet blood that looked, and it was red. It wasn't old.
You sure it was wet blood?
It was wet and it was blood. And I couldn't figure, like I thought, well, initially, is it nail polish? Is it something like a lipstick?
Right, because you got a lot of makeup products around. Could be something.
There's no mice. There was no rodent. There was no, I don't know what it was. And there was nothing on the cats.
I love that you worked through all the logical explanations first. You were like, go to the mice, go to the rodents, did the cats kill something, bring something in.
You know, when you move into a house and people say, oh, apartments have roaches or this has, when people move in and out, it disrupts everything. So whatever might be around is going to show itself. Nothing. So I don't know if they don't live outside either. So I don't know what that was.
That's spooky.
And it wasn't like a crime scene, but it was enough that looked like
it's weird.
Somebody cut themselves.
Bizarre.
I know.
That's a freaky one. I can't say I have anything quite like that. It's funny because I would consider myself the believer in my family, but my brother probably had the most significant paranormal experience of anyone in our family. when we were kids, we lived with my dad, who was living with my grandma at the time. And we were, I think, hanging out in like the TV room, which if you're sitting on the couch, like how I am, and you're looking immediately to your left, it looks down the foyer to the front door. So he's sitting next to me and his face turns down the foyer. So while we're just sitting there, it's like maybe 8 or 9 o'clock at night, he turns his head and starts screaming like I had never heard in my life. And he doesn't say anything about a ghost. He goes, "There's somebody in the house." And I will never, I get chills thinking about it, but I will never forget the feeling of like, we thought there was an intruder. My dad comes barreling in. My grandma's on the phone with 911 and we're turning on every light. We check the basement. There's nobody in the house. And what we ended up finding out of what he saw, he said he turned his head and he looked down the foyer. And what he saw was a man in a white suit with long white hair and a top hat peering from around the corner of the living room, watching him. And it was so real and so vivid. He was convinced there was somebody in the house. And I never forgot about that story. I went on tour. I told it in every single city. And he would die if he knew.
Do you think it was Colonel Sanders?
I hope to God it was.
Yeah.
And if he was looking for the wrong person. He was looking for me.
That is so scary.
Freaky image, right?
Let's take a break. Feel a chill outside? Turn up the heat with DraftKings Casino, the home of Cash Eruption. Spin the largest collection of Cash Eruption slots, including new and exclusive Big Bank Breakout. You know I love cash, and I love eruptions. That's why I play on DraftKings Casino. New players get 500 spins over 10 days on your choice of Cash Eruption slots when you wager $5. Play Classic Cash Eruption today, then Red Hot Joker or Coins and Clovers tomorrow. It's all up to you. Get the app, sign up with code VERYDELTA, then start spinning on the home of Cash Eruption in partnership with DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. Non-withdrawable casino spins issued as 50 spins per day for 10 days. Valid for featured game only and expire each day after 24 hours. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Ends January 4th, 2026 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. We are back with Sylas Dean. What case still has your mind boggled? Or are there a few?
Oh God, there's so many because we mostly cover unsolved cases on CreepTime the podcast, but there are a few that I find just really, really difficult because I try to approach them in the same way that I think you would, where you try to just be very logical about, well, what makes sense? What is the Occam's razor of it all?
Mm-hmm.
There's really one that comes to mind that I'm thinking of, Brandon Swanson. This is a case, if I'm not mistaken, is out of Minnesota, and it's older now. I think it's maybe like the early 2000s. He was a college kid who left a party on the last day of classes, and he was taking a back road home, like a dark back road in Minnesota. Ended up crashing his car off the side of the road, but he had a flip phone. Didn't have an iPhone, but early 2000s flip phone. And he basically called his parents, and he was like, I knocked the car off the road. Like, can you come get me? I don't really know where I am. I'm in like a field area, like a farmland.
I know this.
And while he's walking for like, I don't know, maybe like 30, 40 minutes on the phone with his parents the entire time, just trying to like direct them, like, take this road. I went down this back road. All of a sudden, in the middle of that, his parents remember him just going, oh shit. And then the call cuts out. The phone never turns on again, just goes straight to voicemail. He has never been found. Neither has his phone. And I believe they had canines on that case, and not even the dogs could find him. And Stu and I always say, the dogs know.
Right.
The dogs know.
Yeah.
I still think about that one. I still wonder what it was that he came upon where he went, oh shit. And how there's no trace of blood, struggle. That's a bizarre one.
Mm-hmm. One that always floats around my brain is the Black Dahlia. Is still mind-boggling to me.
Which I just heard about that from, not the Black Dahlia, but I was covering something about the Cecil Hotel for the premiere. And I heard a rumor, I guess this came about in the 80s where people started telling this ghost story that she was last seen at the Cecil in downtown LA, and possibly at the bar with an unknown man shortly before she may have been murdered.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Agony, how do you sleep at night?
Not well, bitch.
Not well?
Very much on that Temazepam game.
Well, I ask you that question just because when I was getting ready today, I was listening to a little bit of your music.
That's such a surprise and so sweet. Thank you.
And so I was thinking about that lyric, agony, and there was a lyric in there, how do you sleep at night?
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder, not just with singing, but also all the creepy stuff. Are you able to sleep at night, even though you listen to and research so many creepy things?
That's a fair question. You know what? It was really tough in the beginning, I'll be honest. I think it's more so before CreepTime, the podcast, and like the Sinister, it was when I started doing it on TikTok because it was so repetitive and like short form every day. I would like wake up in the middle of the night and you'd have nightmares, but it's weird. I have a good balance with it now where I feel like I have enough distance and I don't engage with a lot of true crime outside of my job because it's pretty much all I do. So I'm not seeking out additional content to fill my time. I try to balance my mind with things that are joyous and happy and a lot of shit that's on the Mom Network, to be honest.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a good distraction. So I do sleep easier, to answer your question. But in the beginning, it was really tough.
Well, how about this? When you go out like to a restaurant, you go to a store, what is the scariest thing that could happen in customer service? Is it someone not greeting you?
Oh, God.
Is it someone not honoring a coupon?
You know what? Actually, it's funny you bring this up. One, I went through the drive-thru this morning at Dunkin', so this is a Dunkin' story, and I looked exactly like this. And I had to warn them before I came up, and I was like, by the way, when I come up to the drive-thru, don't be startled, because I look a certain way. And sure enough, I pull up, and there's 6 different girls in the window, and they're all like, it's me with these huge, oversized glasses, if you can imagine it. And I'm just like, thanks for the large coffee. But the scary thing with that Dunkin' drive-thru happened the day before, and I was just telling Stu about this on the show. So you ever pull up to a drive-thru and the speaker volume is turned very, very low?
Yes.
You can't hear what they're saying, which is not a personal thing. It's just like, by the way, turn your speaker up. So I pull up and I'm like, hi. And the girl on the speaker, she's like,
oh no.
And I'm like,
I gotta go.
But the problem is I know like what they're saying because it's the first thing they say in a drive-thru. Like, what can I get you to order? So I just barrel through it and I'm like, hi, I'm going to get the $8 meal, which is a great deal at Dunkin' right now. Breakfast sandwich, coffee, hash browns. And then she goes, want some ketchup? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I can't hear you. I could you speak up a little bit? And she goes, you can let me know. And I'm like, I'm really sorry. I'm like, I still can't hear you. Can you raise the volume? It then goes to a fucking 10. And she goes, will that complete your order?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, yeah, that's all good. That's good. So then it's not a personal thing. I'm like, that's the machine. It's not you. So then I pull up to the front and it's the same girl who took my order and she's got my food and everything. I'm thinking the exchange and the weirdness is over. And she goes to hand me my bag. And then she goes, can you hear me now?
She did not do that.
And I know
you're fucking lying.
No, I was paralyzed with confrontation. I was like, oh, okay. And you do that awkward laugh to like get out of the strange exchange. And also this is before I had coffee too. So anything could happen. I could blow or I could cower.
Sure.
And I just took the bag and she hands it and she goes,
well, let me tell you something. Whoever you are at Dunkin', I hope I find you. And I'm not going to deal with you. I'm going to write a letter, a scathing letter. And then I'm also going to go on to the Yelp and I'm going to leave a nasty review for you specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to lose your job, but I want you to be on suspension for a while. I want you to learn how to watch your mouth when you're talking to us.
And thank you for that.
Why do people do that?
I think it's a power thing.
Because she's powerless and she wants to be in control over somebody. And I get it. Listen, everybody wants something from us right now, politically, socially, and the social media and call the ICE raids and call people to Portland and call the National Guard. And everyone feels fucking overwhelmed like crazy. But guess what? We just can't hear you at the drive-thru. And we know exactly what the problem is. The speaker's just not loud enough this time. And you made yourself small. Hey, sorry, can't. I don't want to point a finger at you. I just want to let you know that, like, you know, I'm having a hard time. There's a Del Taco near my home that is right next to a freeway off-ramp. So I know they're not going to be able to hear. There's cars coming by. They're doing their best in there. They're doing their best. All you wanted to do was pay for the most minimal thing, which is the thing they're advertising right now, an $8 meal.
Exactly.
I just want to be in and out.
And the thing is, I'm not a mean person.
No.
Especially, I worked in customer service for 5 years.
Right.
I literally came up and could not have been smaller, nicer, and like, sorry, I just can't hear you right now. And she took the inch that I gave her of submission and she ran a mile with it.
Well, the problem is that you give people an inch and they'll try to take 8.5.
Yeah.
You know, they will. They will. Some people, it's just not enough.
Oh, bitch, that flew over my head like a jet plane. Oh, my God.
Do you take road trips ever?
You gotta say, do you take dick?
Well, I listen, that's a given.
So do you take dick? Road trip. I do take road trips. Yeah. I moved to LA on a road trip because I'd never been to LA before I moved here. So when I was 24, I bought a Prius with $1,000 down and I drove it across the country and I'd never been to Los Angeles. That was my first like really long cross-country road trip solo, by the way.
Did you behave yourself on the whole way here?
Operative word whole.
Yeah.
I did. Because I couldn't do much because I was 24. And again, I'd only saved up a certain amount of money.
Sure.
And I think it was like just under $5,000, which is a lot of money. And I was like, I can't blow it because that's my money to like get my sublet and like keep myself afloat because I was moving without a job. I shared a master bedroom. This is fucking crazy. I shared a master bedroom with a stranger, someone I had never met, on a blow-up mattress. And that was my introduction to Los Angeles. And as you can see, it's left a few battle scars.
Yeah.
He was insane, unstable, from Idaho. You understand?
Hot?
Not at all.
No.
Not even in the slightest. No.
Really?
Very unstable. But my first day that I arrived, he had a bit of a meltdown, I remember, because I showed up a day early. And it wasn't just...
Dressed like this.
Exactly. As you can tell, I'm a perfectly well-adjusted person.
Right.
But I'd walked in and I came from like 6 days on the road and I was so like burnt out and beat up. And he stormed out of the apartment and freaked out. And I was like, what did I do? What's going on? And he sent this long text and he was like, you were supposed to tell me you were coming a day early. I need to know when you're coming. I need to be able to plan when people are coming. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'm dealing with someone and I'm now locked into a rooming situation with someone who's a little unstable. So let's like mitigate this and just manage the situation. And then once I calmed him down, he goes, it's fine. I just didn't expect you to look like that.
What does that mean?
I think you know. I didn't expect you to look like that.
Ooh.
So I then realized I'm like, I just have to get through this sublet because I had signed on for 3 months. It was temporary. And he ended up leaving eventually and went back to Idaho. But it was a tumultuous time moving to LA.
That is so scary.
It was. He was a scary person. It's true. I mean, the living situation was scary. Sleeping on a blow-up mattress for 3 months is really no fucking joke on the spine.
Yeah. I was asking about road trips because I was thinking about scary things. And I always find the desert to be such an ominous place. Like
it is.
You know, especially when you're like that trip to Vegas, you look out and you're like, there's nothing here. But at some point there was something here.
Yeah, deserts are very scary at night too.
Oh,
There's something about the abyss and like it's like looking out into the ocean. There's like this constant darkness in a desert and it's also cold and windy. Like all of the elements of spooky are there. I actually, on that road trip, I was about to run out of gas because I bought a Prius because I'm like, that will be the best thing to get me to Los Angeles, right? The best on gas. And when I was driving through, I think it was Salina, Utah, which this is a long stretch of highway where there is nothing but desert, nothing. And I think I passed a sign. I think I had like 100 miles left in my Prius worth of gas. A sign said there is no gas for the next 80 miles. And I started to panic because this is not a part of the desert where I've got cell service. So I'm like, all right. Do I turn back? What do I do? I was like, I came from like Grand Junction, Colorado, where I just stayed with a pastor and his wife at an Airbnb. It's a tumultuous time.
Ooh, kinky.
I think, you know what? I think I was their first Airbnb guest ever. They were so scared of me. Because don't.
Oh, I was thinking air mattress still.
No.
With the pastor.
No, the air mattress with the pastor. Well,
Right.
they had me in their basement, and they were just so scared to make any noise. But also, it's a scary thought having, early days of Airbnb, a stranger in your basement. So the next morning, though, I think they were just happy to be alive. I didn't do anything in the middle of the night.
You're happy to be alive.
Truly. What could have happened with that wife and husband? A lot of pent-up aggression going on there.
Do you think you could be a serial killer?
Visually or intrinsically?
Literally.
I don't think I have the capacity. No.
I think you could commit some kind of crime because you're so convincing. I like that.
Yeah, definitely something like I feel more public, probably. Something in the realm of like, I don't know, political, like under the table stuff I feel like I'd be good at. Money laundering of sorts.
I mean, yeah, I think I could do the same thing. But the problem is, I mean, where are we going to get the money?
Step 1, acquire the money.
Right.
Step 2, start laundering it.
Right. We can't do that. We don't even have dirty money to clean. So
no, I'm too much of a goody two shoe. I feel like I've only had a few run-ins with the cops in my past, like especially when I was a teenager, and I think I presented as a very good kid because I think I was. I got good grades, and I was a good kid growing up. I don't know. Have you had a lot of run-ins with the cops in your youth?
No, not at all. I mean, like getting pulled over or something like that for like going over the speed limit or.
I got busted on my first gay date when I was 16 by the cops.
Really?
So we didn't know where to go on our gay date because we weren't out. So I proposed this idea in my Nissan Pathfinder that I was going to just like pick him up and I would park us in this condominium parking lot. We were just going to hang out and like chat in the parking lot. But when you look at that from afar, it looks a little sketchy. So somebody reported us because they thought it was a drug deal going down.
Okay.
So when we're on our date, nervous as hell, chatting about absolutely nothing, we see cop lights come up behind us. And it's not one, it's 4 cruisers. Because they think this is a real legit like drug situation. And we didn't know our rights. We don't know that we can be like, we don't consent to a search and like, etc. So they're like, get out of the car. We had to get out of the car. And they searched my whole vehicle. And meanwhile, we're standing there and we're thinking they're going to call our parents, which is going to out us. So we're shitting ourselves. And at the time, I was in drama club, if you couldn't tell. We were doing some sort of a play where the thing was like, oh, bring in any like wigs and like old Halloween costumes you have because we just want to like try them out and see like what's going to fit for like which characters. So my car is filled with fucking wigs. So in the middle of this like drug bust, when they're searching my car and really searching it, they just keep tossing these wigs in the parking lot. And they're like, what are all these fucking wigs in this car? And then eventually we somehow got ourselves out of it because the cop like realized that we didn't have anything on us and he wasn't really sure what the hell the situation was. So he let us go home basically without calling our parents, which was very kind, but also they did the most. So then we get back in the car and this poor kid was so nervous and wrecked because he really thought our parents were going to get called.
Sure.
The cover's blown off. So he's like, I'm really fucked up over that. He's like, I just that really like fucked up my stomach. And I'm like so nervous. And I'm like, let's calm down. I'm like, how about I just drive us around for a little bit and just like take our minds off of it. And I end up getting us on the highway to just, I don't know, take off. And my car runs out of gas. It stalls.
What is this night?
It stalls on the highway. You ever have a car stall on the highway? It's not great.
Oh my God.
So I then had to make his ass get out and help me push my fucking 94 Pathfinder down an exit ramp to get us gas. And then once I did, I was like, I think we're going to call it a night.
Yeah,
but he still came back to I snuck him into my place and he slept in my bed with me. We didn't do a damn thing. We slept with our clothes on.
Oh, well, you were only 16. That's good.
Right.
That's good behavior.
I know.
If that happens again, how low do you allow your car to go in fuel before you start filling up again?
Have you been in a Prius before?
I don't think so.
When it gets down to like, because they tell you like how many miles you have left, when it gets down to the 20-mile mark, and mine's like an old Prius too, it gives you this scary beeping and it's like, you're running out of gas.
Okay.
Time is of the essence.
Okay.
That always scares me. So I never let it go down to 0. But that's as far as I'll let it go. What about you?
I don't like it to go any lower than about like half a tank. I know.
Really?
I'm that person.
Wait, where do you think that comes from? That's interesting.
I'm an only child,
Mm-hmm.
and I was raised by a single parent, so I've always had to sort of anticipate and overcome everything. So anything that could possibly be like present as a problem, I want to know in advance how I can
You're
solve
10
that.
steps ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
In every way, shape, or form.
That
like,
makes a lot of sense.
you know, like even now as everyone uses contactless payment for everything.
Mhm.
I still have in my mind when I travel out of town, I have to have this amount of cash with me. I have to have this amount of singles with
Which
me.
you still should, because going to different
Yeah.
parts of this country, it's not Los Angeles.
Right.
Yeah. They
Right.
still are, they're doing horse and buggy and they're doing cash.
They are doing horse and buggy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's very much a teeth optional situation in certain parts of the country.
Well, it is. You know what I've been recently into on TikTok is watching people go to Amish marketplaces.
No way.
Yes, and they show all the like really cool food that they have.
Uh-huh.
I love like regional foods. I love stuff like that.
You know, the Amish are known to be pretty damn good, especially when it comes to
Yeah.
baking. Like, their shit's legit.
They go off.
Yeah. My sister, she lives in New York. She lives in Brooklyn. She actually, I just found this out recently, orders from an Amish farm in Jersey, and
Okay.
they deliver it to her. And I'm like, they drive?
In the buggy.
Yeah, I guess I was like, they're getting all the way to Brooklyn, a buggy through New York City. And I'm like, what do you get? She's on that raw milk train. Raw milk.
Oh no, what happens with that?
It was just unpasteurized. It's unfiltered, which is why it has that yellow tint, because it's pus. That's what's in the milk. It's pus.
And what does that do for your biome?
I think that's a part of it where it's like, oh, it's better for my gut. But also, she said it is the creamiest milk. And I'm
No.
like, if you really need that, just drink half and half. If that's
don't want
really
creamy
your
milk.
shit, you know?
I don't want creamy milk.
You don't what do you drink? What's it, 1% skim?
I like whatever almost turns blue. I like that. But I will say, just to be real about it,
Mhm.
if I get a coffee, I like regular cream in it.
Do you do sugar in your coffee too?
I bring my own sweet and low packets. I keep them in my bag.
Why sweet and low versus the other?
I just like because that saccharin is so
Okay.
so fake sugar.
It has a very specific taste to it. I
Mhm.
know exactly what you mean.
There's something about that. I actually wish I had. They used to do back in the day, sweet and low tablets. They were like little tiny
Oh my
like
God.
Tic Tacs almost. And you
Did
would
it look
just
like
pop
so
it
like a
open.
little version of a sugar cube kind of?
Kind of, yes.
That's
but they were
kinda cute.
little tiny ones.
They should bring that back.
I know. Let's take a break. We are back with Sylas Dean. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Is there any small fish that you want to fry? Anything that's just on your nerves or an observation?
Yes, I do. I was talking to you a little bit about brand deal stuff, which again, we agreed is a privileged problem. Like to receive brand deal items or PR, if you
Mhm.
receive like mailers. I recently, funny enough, because this outfit is from Weapons, I got a mailer from the team at Weapons. And when you're a horror content creator or you do true crime, the PR mailers they send you, it's not exactly like Anastasia Beverly Hills. You're not
Mhm.
getting like usable that you can enjoy. They sent me a can of soup,
Oh,
Campbell's soup, empty, mind you, and a lock of synthetic blonde hair. That was, and a can opener to get the can open to find nothing in it. So that was the extent of my mailer. But that's, fine. I'm happy to receive it, but they want free promotion out of it. I thought they would invite me to the Weapons premiere in downtown Los Angeles.
Mhm.
They did not. And this is no slight to Warner Bros. Because they had outsourced to an agency on this, but I will fry this small fish. So then my management reached out and they were like, hey, was there a reason that you didn't invite him to that premiere, considering that you wanted free promotion on his accounts? And they were like, oh, we didn't know he was in Los Angeles. And I'm like, well, you did mail me a PR mailer to my Los Angeles address. So let's stop that there. And then they reach out again, my management, and somebody higher up jumped in. They were like, he just wasn't a part of our strategy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that really created a rift with me. But here I am, still promoting the movie
Yeah.
for free.
For free. My mind is constantly blown by people who I don't know if it's they outsource to these companies that just don't
Mhm.
have a grasp on what's really going on or who really is a mover or shaker or
Mhm.
who they want to effectively speak to their brand.
Sure.
And I can say as a very, I believe, vocal representative of the Hispanic / specifically Chicano community in Southern California, it always blows my mind how many events happen where every other drag queen is invited
Mm-hmm.
except for me. And I think, I can string along a sentence, right?
Yeah.
I can engage with a handful of people maybe more than some of those people. And yet you still don't think that I have my finger on the pulse of anything.
Yeah.
But you've got all your fingers up inside them. Mind-boggling.
Precisely. As if like, because it feels like a slight to your professionalism in a weird
Yes.
way. And here I am like running my mouth about it. Because again,
Oh, well.
it's no slight to Warner. I mean, because they don't even know about this. They outsource it to an agency, as they all do. Sony,
Right.
Lionsgate. But it just eats at you a little bit solely because of the PR component, where
Right.
you tapped me, sent me a mailer
Right.
to post content about because you wanted free promotion on a big platform. And I gave that to you. I scratched that back. So usually the common courtesy in my experience is they'll offer you a brand deal. When that doesn't come, the caveat is you can come walk the carpet. When that doesn't come,
Mm-hmm.
I sit up on Very Delta dressed as Aunt Gladys.
Right. And we bitch about it.
Yeah.
We fry these fish. Well, listen, this is the part of the show where we complain about things. No, this is the part of the show called Read Me Delta. People send in their letters. They have questions.
Yes.
They have queries. They have observations about weird shit going on in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Gladdy, do you have a letter opener over there?
I do. I picked out this gold one.
Dear Dainty Delta and gleaming guest, why do straight men moan when they start to piss? Is that very Delta? I want to get horny by it, but instead it grosses me out. Sincerely, alluring Axel. Why do straight men moan when they start to go pee?
Specifically straight men.
I don't know. Do you ever, like in your road trip, did you have to hold it and go, oh my gosh, I have to go. And then you like,
Oh, in middle America, side of the road.
and
side of the road.
did you go like, oh, this feels so good?
Absolutely. Because again, you're in the middle
Did
of
you
Kansas.
moan or did you go like, oh,
Maybe in like a sigh of relief.
yeah,
do
a
you know-
Sylas of relief?
A Sylas of relief. I was going to ask you, you know about the pee shivers. I think most men know about the pee shivers, right?
Pee shitters.
Shivers.
Oh, shivers.
Like when you're
Oh, I
peeing
thought-
and towards the tail end of peeing, you just have a little bit of like a convulsion for a second in your body where you just shake. Do you know what I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's also, but do you ever have, maybe it's just as an age thing, do you ever have like a finish and then you're like, oh, not finished. And then there's like
Yes.
another, that's when you
Yeah, when
really
you
have
think
to
you're
go
finished
pee.
peeing and you put your penis away and then you realize, oh, I just pissed,
Well, you don't
pissed
even
myself a little bit.
No,
Yeah.
not even, oh,
Yeah.
you pee yourself.
Well, if you think you haven't finished.
Well, I've shit myself before. So we're fine with that. We're honest with each other.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about when you go pee, and you're
Mhm.
like, oh, all done. Oh, no. And then you kind of start all over again. Like it comes from like the other leg or something.
Yeah, it's almost like, your bladder was like ready to cut it off. They were like, okay,
Uh-huh.
the seal is now closed, but
Yeah.
they realize, you know what? We don't know when you're going to be in this situation again.
Right.
Sitting over a toilet, you need to pee again.
Right.
Get it all out.
Right.
It's like your body was like, we were using that water, we're not using that anymore. So I
Right.
know what you're talking about. When you were growing up, tell me if you ever did this when you would pee standing up. I used to flip over the elastic of my boxers and I would pee. And it became a very real problem because one day, Mama, I pissed blood.
I don't understand. What do you mean?
I think because the peen is hanging over the elastic, I think I had like made a micro tear in my urethra and I fully pissed blood. And we thought, I went to the doctor with my parents. We thought it was like some insane thing. And then he asked me, can I ask how you pee when you pee? And I had to demonstrate for him in an office. And he said, please don't flip it over, the elastic of your boxers, because you're putting tension on your
Oh, I see what you're
urethra."
saying.
Yeah.
Instead of like opening the underwear like hole.
Yes.
Oh, I don't think I've
exactly.
ever opened the underwear hole. Just right over.
Exactly. Apparently that can create a problem.
Huh.
He also said something to me, which was also formative at that age, because I feel like 13, 14 is around the time you start like self-grooming. I will never, ever forget, because you're alone in the room with this peen doctor. I don't know what those are called. Doctors who specialize in the peen.
A urologist.
There it is.
Mhm.
There might be one who specializes in, that's urine, but like in the peen specifically, but I don't know. But he looked me in the eye.
A priest.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I should have known. I'm Catholic. I should have known that. Damn. I remember him just asking to inspect. And then he goes, does everybody your age shave?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, because at that age when you're grooming, you're not doing the trim. You're doing a full bald shave.
Right. Well, did you ever do like a Playboy bunny cutout?
I tried a triangle once. It didn't
Uh-huh.
work out because it's very coarse hair. but I do attempt, yes.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you try that? Zigzags?
Nair all the way through.
You don't nair.
Nair everything.
You're lying.
Yep. I'm not lying.
You nair everything?
Of course.
Your skin doesn't get like irritated
Well,
from that?
whenever I do shave, like whenever I want to groom, I will nair. So whenever it starts to get too long, just do that.
It doesn't burn?
No, you have to be very careful because it can. So you can't like scratch or like if you like scratch something, even just like that, and you put nair on it, it will irritate it for sure. So you can imagine that area is also very sensitive.
Yeah.
But for me, like if I have tights and stuff on for drag, your hair will not snag on there if there's no hair.
Wow.
Yeah, for some people it's fine, but for some people, it's not.
I always associate nair. I'm like, that is burn city. That's burn victim.
I knew someone that used to put nair in his nostrils because he didn't want, and that area, like there's certain areas where there's mucosal membranes where there's not supposed to be that kind of remover, right?
Humans are fucking wild.
They are crazy.
Nair up the nostrils.
So wait, I don't understand. I feel like that's interesting that the doctor was like all up in there. And how old were you? 13?
I think I was like 13, 14.
I don't think that's right.
It probably wasn't. And it didn't seem as maybe pervy as it does when I'm telling it. But in that moment, I was like, you definitely shouldn't be commenting on my pubic hair.
Right.
Don't do that.
What does the doctor say now about your pubic hair?
It's a female doctor, and I really think she doesn't like it.
She doesn't like it. Is it full 70s, 80s bush, or is it
biggest bush?
You have a huge bush,
extensive bush. Wait, did we answer the question?
What
Moaning?
Was it?
Yeah,
what was the question?
Sorry.
Do we ever
moaning while peeing? Why do straight men do it? I don't know. I think if I had to guess, it has something to do with the release, and maybe it's one of the only times in their life where they are truly submitting to something.
Well, I think if they're doing it when other men are around.
Oh, we're talking about the urinal?
I think that if they're
moaning
doing that,
at the
they're
urinal
doing it on purpose.
Oh, brother.
They want fellatio. Is what they want. Dear Delta and sumptuous guest, we are huge fans of the podcast and literally get our lives when Delta goes off. Currently, as we write this message, we are enjoying the most nightly of feasts at the Medieval Times in the Chicagoland area. For listeners who aren't aware, Medieval Times is the equivalent to a dinner theater for live-action role plays set in medieval times Spain, where you enjoy a feast while the knights joust real-life horses to gain the favor of a beloved princess. While slurping down our flat Pepsi, we want to know, is Medieval Times very Delta? Is it very Delta to lust over scantily clad knights galloping inside a theater, hitting each other with giant wooden sticks while we cheer for our team? Have you ever been to Medieval Times? Would you dress up for the occasion? We notice there is no silverware on the table while we type, so I guess we have to smash our faces into the plate for our tomato bisque and full-assed roasted chicken. Is that very Delta? Forever yours in honor and glory, very Kyle and very Stefania. Have you been to Medieval Times?
I have not. No. I'm open to it, though.
I've been to Medieval Times, and I like Medieval Times.
Tell me more
fun.
about it.
So you can go to one in Buena Park.
Okay.
To me, it's very Delta. I love Medieval Times. I will say there is not silverware, so you are, in fact, eating with your hands the whole time.
Okay. All right.
I think there is soup, but you just sip it because it's in like a bowl that you can do that with. But you're eating the chicken with your hands, and it's fun. The show
making me
is
hungry.
Really great.
I was like, it's very exciting. And this is happening, they said, in Chicago for them?
They're in Chicagoland, it says.
Okay.
But apparently, obviously, there's more than one location. I've always known of this one in Southern California. And I think there's another pirate show here you can go to as well.
I do know about a pirate show.
Yeah. I love that stuff. I think it's fun.
I do too. I just, I don't know. I have a weird thing. Tell me how you feel about this. I have a weird thing with like dinner or meals where I have to be in a specific environment where I'm ready to see a show. If something is happening when I'm out to a restaurant and there is live entertainment, I really, really don't like that.
Okay.
Like if I'm there to have a conversation with somebody and I'm there to have dinner with them and there's a band, like a cover band or a jazz band who's blaring in the corner and they are demanding the focus because the sound is so overbearing and loud, I really don't like that. And I know I'm the odd one out in it, but how do you feel about it?
No, I mean, if I'm going to go somewhere where that entertainment is happening, I guess I kind of have to know that I'm not going to be having those conversations.
There's nothing worse than walking into it blind and you're like, oh, okay, well, I thought I was going to have a nice dinner with my friend and all of a sudden I'm at a jazz festival.
But I'm also a very old lady who likes, if I go to a concert, I like to consume that experience seated. Now, I understand there's people that want to get up and dance, but usually the music that I want to go listen to is not get up and dance music anyway.
Okay, a little softer.
Right. So I'm going to go see, I don't know, a country artist from the 90s, or I'm going to go see the Indigo Girls or something like that. So it's going to be seated because it's storytelling.
Sure. Kind of like almost like I would imagine the Hollywood Bowl. I do like. I love going to see an event, and that's like more of a picnic though.
Right.
That's not dinner.
Right. That's a little bit different.
Yeah, I hate. Did you ever serve? Were you a server?
No.
In the military? Did you ever serve in the military?
I was in the military for many years.
Good to know.
As a dancer.
Yes. A flapper specifically.
A fapper.
A fapper.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
This is so fun.
This was a blast. And can I just say before we go, thank you so much for having me, because this is truly, I said this to you before, this is your arena and you are so excellent at this. And it really does like seriously mean a lot to me that you had me on the show. So thank you.
Well, it means a lot that you would do it. I mean, honestly, watching you on TikTok, which is like I say, where I first came to understand who you were, it was just so exciting because I feel like when the clips would pop up, I don't know if we talked about this on camera or off camera, but you feel as somebody who consumes podcasts, there is a level of anxiety, I think, that I just go through life with. And there's certain voices that are calming. And so even if you're telling me something creepy, when I listen to it, I feel safe. I feel like this information is calming. And I think podcasting does that for some people. It's not just the content, it's the way it's being delivered. And you certainly do that for people. It's really, really great. And if I have poppers with me when I'm listening to it as well, I can get through the Aunt Gladys. I can see through the Aunt Gladys. I can see it.
Oh, baby.
And it's fine.
That's very nice of you to say. Thank you. And I think that you do the same for everyone else.
Today on Very Delta, we learned that sometimes the creepiest thing about taking a piss is the moan. We'll see you next week. And until then, keep things very scary, Delta. Very Delta is produced by Moguls of Media, aka Mom. Hosted by Delta Work. Produced and edited by Doug Robertson. Technical direction by Danielle Mitchell. With original theme music by Will Pitts. Media and design support by Stone Cold. And set design by Eris Sevilla. Executive produced by Alaska, Willem, Big Dipper, Camille Stennis, and Joe Cilio. Recorded at Forever Dog Productions. Does your wife sometimes let you fuck her in her ass?
Mom!
Watch Very Delta uncensored, ad-free, and a day early by subscribing to Mom Plus Gold. Sign up today at mompodcast.plus for premium content, including weekly episodes of more Very Delta.